You were never in control. Watch the opening shot of Hereditary, a miniature model, a dollhouse bedroom. The camera slowly pushes in, and then it's not a model anymore. It's a real room, Peter's room, and he's sleeping in it. The film opens on a miniature model, immediately establishing control, predestination, and manipulation as core ideas. Annie recreates real-life trauma through miniatures. She builds her grief into tiny wooden boxes. Her mother's funeral, her daughter's bedroom. Every traumatic moment reduced to something she can control, except she can't control any of it. The miniatures symbolize her lack of agency over events. She's building models of a story that was written before she was born. Charlie consistently behaves unlike a typical child. The clicking sounds with her tongue, the emotional detachment, the way she stares. She decapitates birds and keeps their heads. She doesn't cry. She doesn't laugh. She just exists. Wrong, because Charlie isn't Charlie. Charlie's death mirrors ritual sacrifice rather than random accident. She sticks her head out the car window. Peter swerves. A telephone pole decapitates her instantly, and the film never treats it as an accident. Payment. Symbols appear in the background long before they are acknowledged. On the telephone pole that kills Charlie, in the grandmother's bedroom, in the treehouse, the demon sigil is everywhere, marking territory, claiming victims. The grandmother's presence persists visually even after her death. Her shadow in doorways, her figure in photographs, her voice in Annie's seances, because the grandmother started this. She worshipped Taman. She tried to put the demon in her son, but he killed himself. She tried to put it in Annie, but Annie resisted, so she put it in Charlie. And when Charlie's body was destroyed, the demon needed a new host, a male host. Annie is sleepwalking during violent acts, removing conscious intent. She tries to burn her children alive. She doesn't remember. She's not in control of her own body. Peter is emotionally absent after Charlie's death, reinforcing possession vulnerability. He shuts down, stops feeling, creates a perfect void for something else to fill. Joan's chance meetings align too precisely to be coincidence. She approaches Annie at a grief support group. She teaches her a seance ritual. She gives her the exact words needed to summon Payman. She's not a grieving mother. She's a cult member, finishing what the grandmother started. The ending confirms the cult's plan succeeds exactly as designed. Peter jumps out the window. His body breaks, and then he stands up, walks to the treehouse, where the cult is waiting, where his grandmother's headless corpse sits with a crown, where they bow to him and call him King Payman. This isn't a story about grief. It's a story about predestination. The film tells you from the first frame, you are watching a miniature. Someone else built this. Someone else controls it. And no matter what the characters do, the story ends exactly how it was designed to end. The cult gave her what she needed. Midsommar opens with a family murder-suicide that emotionally isolates Danny. Her sister kills their parents with carbon monoxide, then kills herself. And Danny's boyfriend Christian doesn't know how to help, doesn't want to help, wants to break up but feels guilty. So he invites her to Sweden, to a midsummer festival with his friends, to a remote commune called Harga. And the moment they arrive, the film shifts. Donnie's grief reactions are mirrored later by the cult's communal rituals. When someone dies, everyone screams together. Everyone cries together. Nobody grieves alone. The Harga village operates on strict cycles of life and death. Every 90 years, they perform the same rituals, the same sacrifices, the same structure, and outsiders are brought in to complete the cycle. Outsiders are systematically removed one by one. Mark pisses on a sacred tree. He disappears. Josh sneaks into the temple to take photos. He disappears. Connie wants to leave. She disappears. But Danny is the only outsider never punished for rule breaking. She asks questions. She resists the drugs initially. She's horrified by the cliff sacrifice. And the cult just smiles, comforts her, includes her, because they're not recruiting the men. They're recruiting Danny. Visuals subtly shift from anxiety to serenity as Danny assimilates. The bright daylight that felt oppressive becomes warm. The constant surveillance that felt threatening becomes communal. The rituals that felt alien become familiar. Christian is emotionally neglectful throughout, reinforcing Danny's vulnerability. He forgets her birthday. He doesn't want her on the trip. He sleeps with another woman during a fertility ritual while Danny watches through a keyhole. And the cult sees this. They see Danny suffering. And they offer her something Christian never did: belonging. Ritual sacrifices match the exact number required by the cult: 4 outsiders. 4 Harga members who volunteer, and 1 chosen by the May Queen. Danny's May Queen role replaces her previous lack of belonging. She wins the dance competition. They crown her with flowers. They give her a throne. They give her power, and when she chooses Christian to burn in the bear suit, the cult doesn't judge her. They scream with her. They cry with her. They mirror her pain until it transforms into catharsis. The final smile marks emotional resolution through indoctrination, not rescue. Midsommar isn't about escaping a cult. It's about finding one. Danny lost her family. The Harga gave her a new one. And the film asks, is that salvation? Or is it something worse? Perfection destroys the self. Nina Sayers is cast as the Swan Queen in Swan Lake. She has to play both the White Swan technical, pure, controlled, and the Black Swan sensual, dangerous, free. Nina can dance the White Swan perfectly, but she can't embody the Black Swan. She's too repressed, too rigid, too afraid. So her director pushes her. Lose yourself, he says. And she does. She loses herself completely. Nina experiences hallucinations that worsen as perfection pressure increases. Mirrors frequently distort Nina's reflection, suggesting fractured identity. She sees herself across the room, watches herself dance. Her reflection moves wrong, attacks her, because the person in the mirror isn't her anymore. Nina's body appears to physically change, but only from her perspective. Feathers sprout from her shoulders. Her legs bend wrong. Her eyes turn red. She's transforming, becoming the Black Swan, except none of it is real. Authority figures push Nina toward losing control rather than stability. Her director Thomas wants her darker. Her mother wants her perfect. Both demands are impossible. Both crush her from opposite directions. Nina confuses imagined events with reality. Did she sleep with Lily? Did she stab Lily in the dressing room? Or did she stab herself? Sexual encounters blur between fantasy and actual experience. The scene with Lily in Nina's apartment. The scene with Thomas in the studio. Nina's wounds vanish or relocate inconsistently. The scratch on her back, the cut on her finger, they appear, they disappear. They move. The swan transformation aligns with psychological dissociation. Nina isn't becoming a swan, she's fragmenting, breaking into pieces. White Nina, black Nina, neither one whole. Nina mistakes self-harm for transcendence. She thinks the blood means she's finally free, finally perfect, finally the Black Swan. The final performance coincides with complete identity collapse. She dances flawlessly. The audience erupts. And backstage she's bleeding, dying, smiling. I was perfect, she says. And that's the horror. She was perfect. And perfection killed her. Black Swan isn't a supernatural film. It's a psychological breakdown filmed as body horror. Every transformation is Nina's mind destroying her body to achieve an impossible standard. And the tragedy is that she succeeds. Grief never leaves. The Babadook appears only after Amelia suppresses grief. Her husband died driving her to the hospital to give birth to Samuel. Samuel's birthday is the anniversary of his father's death, and Amelia refuses to talk about it, refuses to remember, refuses to grieve, until a book appears on Samuel's shelf. Mr. Babadook, a pop-up book with charcoal illustrations of a monster in a top hat. And the book says, if it's in a word, or if it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. Samuel's behavior reflects unresolved trauma rather than possession. He's obsessed with protecting his mother from monsters. He builds weapons. He screams at night. He's acting out. Not because he's haunted, because his mother is. The monster's presence correlates with emotional repression. Every time Amelia pushes down her anger, her exhaustion, her grief, the Babadook grows stronger. The book cannot be destroyed. She tears it up, burns it, and it reappears on her doorstep, reassembled, with new pages showing her killing her son. Amelia's hallucinations intensify when she denies emotional pain. She sees her husband, sees the Babadook in her house, on the ceiling, in the basement. The Babadook never harms anyone directly. It doesn't attack. It doesn't chase. It just exists, growing, spreading, consuming. Violence increases when Amelia resists acknowledging grief. She nearly kills Samuel, nearly kills the dog, nearly kills herself. Because the Babadook isn't external, it's her. It's every suppressed emotion manifesting as a monster. The monster weakens once named and confronted. Amelia screams at it, "You don't own me." And it shrinks, retreats, but it doesn't disappear. Amelia feeds the Babadook at the end, not banishing it. She goes to the basement, brings it a bowl of worms, keeps it alive, contained, managed. Because grief becomes manageable, not eliminated. You don't kill grief. You don't destroy it. You learn to live with it. You feed it. You acknowledge it. You keep it in the basement where it can't hurt you. But you never pretend it's gone. The Babadook is the most honest horror film ever made. Because the monster wins. And that's not a tragedy. That's acceptance. You're already in hell. The Lighthouse starts with two men arriving at a remote island. Winslow and Wake. 4 weeks of lighthouse keeping. Isolation. Routine. Then they can leave. Except time is deliberately inconsistent throughout the film. Days blend together. The 4 weeks become longer or shorter or endless. The film never confirms how long they're actually there. The characters contradict each other's memories. Wake says Winslow did something. Winslow denies it. Both believe they're right. Both might be lying. Or both might be telling different versions of the same fractured truth. Alcohol consumption escalates psychological breakdown. They drink constantly. Kerosene when the liquor runs out. And the more they drink, the less reliable reality becomes. Mythological imagery overlaps with reality. Winslow sees mermaids. Wake becomes Poseidon. The lighthouse beam becomes something divine, or demonic, or both. Guilt from past actions haunts both men. Winslow isn't Winslow. He's Tommy. He took a dead man's name. He may have killed that man, or let him die. The film shows both versions. Wake may have killed his previous assistant, or driven him mad, or the previous assistant never existed. Isolation accelerates identity collapse. Without other people, without external validation, the two men start breaking down. They fight. They dance. They confess. They lie. They become reflections of each other. The light is never objectively explained. Wake won't let Winslow see it. Guards it obsessively. And when Winslow finally reaches the top of the lighthouse, finally looks into the light, he screams, falls, and the film doesn't show what he saw. The seagull's death triggers moral punishment. Winslow kills a seagull. Wake warns him it's bad luck, that seagulls carry sailors' souls. And from that moment, everything deteriorates. The storm traps them. The supplies run out. Violence escalates. Reality fractures into hallucination and myth. Winslow finds Wake's severed head in a lobster trap. Then Wake is alive again. Winslow has sex with a mermaid. Then wakes up humping a mattress. Nothing is stable. Nothing is confirmed. The ending reflects eternal punishment rather than escape. Winslow kills Wake, buries him, climbs the lighthouse, looks into the light, and then he's on the rocks, being eaten by seagulls, alive, screaming, "I'm able to die." The Lighthouse isn't a ghost story. It's a story about two men already in hell. The island is purgatory. The lighthouse is temptation. And the punishment is consciousness without escape. They're trapped. They've always been trapped, and they'll be trapped forever. The ghosts are alive. The Others is set in 1945, a mansion on the island of Jersey. Grace lives there with her two children, Anne and Nicholas. The children have a medical condition. Severe photosensitivity. Light burns their skin, so the house must stay dark. Every curtain drawn, every door locked. The house rules resemble purgatorial logic. 3 servants arrive: Mrs. Mills, Mr. Tuttle, and a mute girl named Lydia. They claim they worked at the house before. They know the layout. They understand the rules. Servants already understand the truth of the house. They move through the mansion like they've always been there, because they have. Grace enforces rigid religious rules. Prayer before meals. No speaking out of turn. Absolute obedience. She's Catholic, devout, and she believes that order and faith will protect her children from whatever is happening in the house. But footsteps echo in empty rooms. Doors open on their own. Voices whisper. Grace believes they are haunted. The family believes they are haunted. Grace searches for intruders, locks every door, checks every room, and finds nothing, until the seance. The seance reverses perspective. A medium contacts the dead. And the dead are Grace, Anne, and Nicholas. The living family trying to move into the house is what Grace has been calling ghosts. They're not haunting the house. They are the house. Grace's denial delays acceptance. Even after the seance, even after hearing herself described as a ghost, she resists. She can't be dead. Her children can't be dead. But the truth is there. In the photographs she finds, old Victorian photographs, of dead people, of servants posed as if sleeping. Mrs. Mills, Mr. Tuttle, Lydia, all in the photographs. All dead, and they've been guiding Grace toward understanding. The living appear threatening due to perspective inversion. When the living family tries to move in, Grace sees them as invaders, as demons, as threats to her children. But they're just people, trying to live in their house, while ghosts refuse to leave. The final revelation reframes all prior events logically. Grace remembers. She smothered her children with a pillow. A moment of madness, religious mania. She thought she was saving them from a sinful world. Then she realized what she'd done, and she shot herself. The photosensitivity was never real. It was Grace's mind constructing rules to keep them in darkness, to avoid seeing the truth, to stay hidden from the light. Curtains remain closed, reinforcing fear of exposure, not physical exposure. Spiritual exposure. The light isn't dangerous to the children's skin. It's dangerous to the lie Grace is living. Dying takes a long time. Jacob's Ladder opens in Vietnam. 1971. A surprise attack. Jacob Singer is bayoneted in the gut. He collapses. And then he's in New York, years later, working at the post office, divorced, dating a woman named Jezebel. Except reality shifts without transition throughout the film. He's in the subway. Then he's in a hospital. Then he's at home. Then he's in Vietnam again. Hallucinations worsen over time. Demons in the subway. Faceless doctors. His dead son Gabe appearing and disappearing. Time loops and contradictions occur. His ex-wife Sarah says they have a son. Then she doesn't. Jezebel is there. Then she isn't. Physical injuries appear and disappear. The bayonet wound in his stomach. Sometimes it's bleeding. Sometimes it's healed. Sometimes it's not there at all. Authority figures fail to offer clarity. His therapist can't help him. The VA won't acknowledge what happened in Vietnam. His platoon members are experiencing the same hallucinations but can't explain them. Jacob seeks explanations rather than acceptance. He believes the government tested a drug on his unit, BZ, a chemical that causes rage. He thinks if he can prove it, if he can expose it, he'll be cured. But there's no cure, because there's no drug. Demonic imagery escalates near death. The hallucinations intensify. Demons shake their heads impossibly fast. Hospital gurneys rush through corridors lined with tortured patients. Jacob is strapped down, cut open, screaming, and then he's somewhere else. Calm moments coincide with surrender. A chiropractor named Louis tells him, "The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of life." Jacob's Ladder is explicit about its structure. The film is based on the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bardo state, the in-between. And the message is clear: you can fight death and experience hell, or you can accept death and find peace. Jacob fought for the entire film. And when he finally stopped fighting, when he took his son's hand and climbed, the hell ended. Not because he defeated it, because he surrendered to it. The monster is you. It Comes at Night takes place after an unspecified plague. A family lives in a house in the woods. Paul, his wife Sarah, their teenage son Travis, they have rules. Wear gas masks outside. Never open the red door at night. Trust no one. Then strangers arrive. Will, his wife Kim, their young son Andrew. They claim they were looking for water. Paul doesn't trust them, but he lets them stay. 2 families, 1 house. Mounting paranoia, except no external monster is ever shown. The plague exists. People die from it. But the film never shows the infection, never shows creatures, never shows the threat. Fear drives all major decisions. Paul makes choices based on what might happen, not what is happening. Dreams reveal internal anxiety rather than prophecy. Travis has nightmares of his grandfather dying, of the plague spreading, of the red door opening. And the film blurs dreams with reality. You don't know what's real. Neither does Travis. Mistrust escalates despite cooperation. Both families try to work together, share food, share space. But every conversation plants suspicion. Every night sound becomes a threat. Illness is feared but ambiguous. Andrew gets sick. Or maybe he doesn't. The symptoms are unclear. The diagnosis uncertain. Isolation amplifies paranoia. There's no outside authority. No hospitals, no neighbors. Just 2 families making life or death decisions based on fear. Violence results from suspicion, not threat. Paul believes Will's family broke the rules. Went outside, compromised the house, so he ties them up, interrogates them. Death was always waiting. Don't Look Now opens with a tragedy. John and Lavra Baxter's daughter Christine drowns in a pond behind their house. John sees it happen, tries to save her, fails, and the opening tragedy establishes fatalism. The daughter's death isn't random. It's the first domino. Months later, John and Lavra are in Venice. John is restoring a church. Lavra meets 2 elderly sisters. One is blind. Red imagery recurs before death. Christine was wearing a red raincoat when she drowned. And throughout Venice, John keeps seeing a small figure in a red coat, running through alleys, disappearing around corners. He chases it, trying to protect it, trying to save what he couldn't save before. Time appears fractured. John has visions. He sees Lavra on a funeral barge, dressed in black, crying. But Lavra is right next to him, alive. The vision is of the future, of his own funeral. But he doesn't understand. Premonitions are ignored. The psychic sister warns them to leave Venice. Lavra wants to go. But John insists on staying, finishing the restoration. Rationality overriding intuition. Visions foreshadow inevitable fate. Every warning John receives, he dismisses. Every sign he rationalizes. The protagonist misreads signs. He thinks he's seeing Christine's ghost. He thinks he's being given a chance to save her this time, but the figure in red isn't Christine. It's a dwarf. A woman with a knife.